Welcome.
What's going on, everybody?
Oh, I like that little jazz little thing.
Over here like,
Hey, right now.
hey.
So who
How
did
y'all
your homework?
Say what now?
Did you read a book? Read a book? Read a motherfucking book? No.
Oh, Jesus. Well, listen, I ain't gonna even lie. Your girl tired. Listen, do y'all know I was at the airport for like 4 hours because my flight was delayed 3 hours.
Oh.
I ain't ate because I kept wanting to go get food, but they kept announcing the crew was on their way. The crew was on their way because that's what the plane was there. We were waiting on the crew. That's what they said. So I kept saying, okay, let me wait because I don't want to go get food and then I get fucking left.
That part.
I'm hungry.
They really with you.
Listen.
They like my mama used to be. When the car door closed, if she said she leaving at 7, the car door closed, you at the house.
And we out. Okay. You better stop playing.
That part.
And then look, and what happened when we done changed days and times. And I was like, you know what? That's life though. It's all good because the people love us. They gonna find us, they gonna figure it out. It's gonna be good. How y'all doing? How y'all doing?
I don't know. I got a case of the Mondays, I guess.
There we go. It's gonna be all right.
Now, actually, I was up too late last night. I didn't go to bed till like 3.
Was you doing some things? Okay. Do we? Oh, never mind then.
What?
It wasn't even no fun times.
Fun time?
That really sucks for you.
You know, when we have the 50, you can't be just wasting your late night on some bullshit.
I mean, I wasn't trying to, just couldn't go to sleep. So,
Oh, wow.
So I've been kind of, sluggish all day. I didn't get anything accomplished I was planning on doing today. So
me neither. So don't feel bad.
Yeah, that's not good.
Don't feel bad. I was gonna hit the ground running and go to the chiropractor when I got here. Go to the store and get some stuff for my hotel room for the week. Literally ran in here and jumped on Wi-Fi so I could see y'all.
Right.
Y'all are so amazing. But I feel like we got some juiciness because, last week we were talking about the type of people that you choose.
Right.
And that seemed to be a real, interesting conversation. I actually got some feedback from some people that watched the replay and they were like, I saw myself. And I was like, did you?
Right.
Right. So it's really making people think, which is a good thing.
Right. And the thing is that hindsight is always 20/20. And at the time that you're in it, you actually don't really realize that. And unfortunately, you don't really realize that sometimes you're the toxic one.
Facts.
Even though you always are like, hey, he's so toxic, I got that. Or she's so toxic, I can't. Maybe she. Yeah. And not always, but maybe it is because, I had to own some of my toxicity. I was like, whoa.
I mean, at the end of the day, though, technically, isn't everybody toxic? Because everybody has something.
We all got issues, right? But I think the difference is for me anyway. Like I've had to have some real conversations with some of my friends, recognizing that I am in fact the problem. Because, I ain't gonna lie, it took me a minute to get there because I was like, I'm not the problem. Like, how dare you say this? But I had to look at the patterns that I create with certain situations in my life, whether it be in my relationship, whether it be in my friendships, because all of it's relationship, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so, like in my relationship space, not to tell all of my little business, but I had to acknowledge that I do have a tendency to be totally blind to things. Like, so last time I was here, Michael and Q and I had a really good conversation. And she basically called me a savant. And so I was like, are you saying I'm an idiot? Like, what the fuck? But no, so we had real conversation about the fact that I don't know that I really have a concept for a lot of things. So I mimic what I have seen in life. I mimic what I've seen other people do or what makes sense to me. I follow patterns. That's what makes sense to me, right? I look at things, I find patterns, and that's what I do. And so I recognize that one of my patterns was this: you're only going to get so much. I can love you with everything I got, but you are only going to get what makes sense to me. And in my house, I'm like, but I love you though. But my action may not necessarily be backing up those words that I'm saying because I'm loving you with my logic. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
And I was really recognizing that. And so they were like, they had an intervention with me. And then like one of my friends called me to the carpet about the whole love thing. When I got out of my last relationship, she was like, I never heard you say, like, I know y'all love each other, but I never heard you say certain things. Like, do you want that? And I was like, yeah, maybe.
But you know, that's the thing is sometimes we can't recognize emotional unavailability because that wasn't a thing. Like nobody ever taught us about that, but actions taught us about that. If you get what I'm saying, it's like we watched other people and let's be honest, a lot of this stuff comes from childhood. It comes from our parents. It comes from seeing relationships around us or lack thereof. And we mimic what we see.
Yeah.
We mimic what we see. And it's terrible. And sometimes you actually I had to think about this. Why did I have kids so young?
Okay.
I wanted that unconditional love that I thought, like what I see on TV and stuff like that, right? And I still didn't get it, even from the kid, because I was active duty military. So he gave what I thought I was going to get to my mom, who was there.
Ooh.
So, so we have to explore why we do the things that we do, because sometimes we do the things for what is missing in our life, thinking that we'll be able to replace it. Because there's another thing is that sometimes little girls unconsciously date their dad.
Oh, very true.
Most of the
Every
time.
man I've dated and the men I married have specific qualities that my dad had that I was looking for intentionally.
Yeah, but there are times that it's toxic that you're dating.
That's true too.
Because the toxic behavior sometimes attracts you too, because you quote unquote try to fix him.
That is true
try
too.
to fix the things that you thought was missing. And to be honest, a lot of men unconsciously date women exactly opposite from their mom because they despise her.
Yes and no. I've seen a lot of men look for women that are just like their mom, and I've seen men that look for the opposite too. But I think there's good and bad in that. I think the awareness that we can have can be the thing that makes us go look for the desirable qualities. That said, absolutely. I think it can be the thing that makes us look for like my dad, he wasn't shit in my life. I have been very open about that. This is not something I'm saying about him post youth. Oh, I can't even get the word out. Past death. This is the conversation he and I had. Like, he's more for me now in spirit than he ever was alive. But there were certain qualities to this. Mine either. But there were certain qualities that he brought to the table in my childhood that were very desirable for me, that even right now are very important. One of those being safety. Like, because of his reputation and who he was, nobody in the neighborhood ever fucked with me, like, ever. Even into my adulthood, even though I had moved away, even into my adulthood, you know, when I would go back home, even if I didn't tell him I was coming home, the minute anybody saw me, they would go tell him, and he would come looking for me. But there was still that umbrella of protection around me as well. Like, none of the dudes, none of the people, nobody ever bothered me. He just offered that bubble, you know. That's something that I'm very conscious of when I date, is I'm looking for that type of energy, right? I've always chosen men that will see you about me, because that's what I got from him. Even though he didn't show up in other ways, like emotionally and all those things, he was very much so a protector.
And see, the thing is I didn't get any of that. My father was a provider only when we were like overseas and stuff like that. But then once he split from my mom, he wasn't even a provider anymore. And then it was like he was emotionally distant, emotionally unavailable. And so not only do I attract emotionally unavailable men, I'm emotionally unavailable too. And so maybe I attract that because I really don't want to have that. I guess I want to have a reason to cut them off, if that makes sense.
I did it.
You know how you get people that you know they're gonna do they're gonna mess up, and so you get people intentionally knowing they're gonna mess up, so that you could say, "See, cut them off."
I mean, well, being a man, from my experiences, I can only say that most men are not taught anything about relationships, so they don't really know how to handle them. So they gotta stumble and bumble through them until they figure things out on their own. So that leads to a lot of stuff. Plus, then a lot of people do, repeat the things they've seen. Like if their mother was in an abusive relationship, they'll be abusers. Things like that. Or, if they didn't get that kind of love from their mother, then they kind of hate women, and so they treat them badly. Or if something happened to them, they become like, when they were young, if they got touched inappropriately or something like that, they just become womenizers, because they don't want to have that connection with anybody, because they know that they probably gonna end up getting hurt.
I get that. I get that. I think that even I will say, I think even from the woman's perspective, I know one of the things that I have become conscious of in my most recent healing space is the emotional unavailability for me. Wait, Jason said you didn't get no notification, people, but hey, we love you, Jason. You know we was gonna notify you. See, what had happened was it's their fault. No, I was late. I was late, y'all. Huh? My girl, listen, my flight was late.
Supposed to be doing it together tonight.
Okay.
Yeah.
Listen, we was all supposed to have it better, but things happen. Thank you for being here, Jason, because we love you. But I think from the woman's perspective, one thing I can say that I have really become conscious of is, so I had this conversation with this lady, and we were talking about the zodiac signs. And one thing I recognize about Sagittarian energy is we are like a vixen type energy. I promise y'all, I could be looking like a straight bum, like hair just doing whatever, like sweatpants I've been painting the house in, looking real crazy. And I'm like, people are drawn to me like a moth to a flame, right? And I'm talking about men and women. And so for me, I had to recognize that it became like a cat with a mouse energy. And I was drawn to the chase, but because obviously I'm the one being pursued, right? I'm not chasing the men, but I was drawn to the chase, the experience of being wanted. Like, I want you as long as we're in the pursuit part, but once I've got you and like you my man, or you're you know, it's not as fun, it's not as entertaining. And I think that was a trauma response for me. I want to be honest about that. Like, it was a trauma response of having caregivers that were either literally emotionally unavailable, or they were too demanding emotionally, meaning that they wanted so much love that I didn't know how to give it. And that's the relationship I had with my mom, right? She was so clingy and overwhelming that it just was suffocating. So I always found myself in this space like, oh, please stop. Like, if that makes sense. I had to work really hard to break that cycle because it was so comfortable. It was so normalized for me. So I had to break that intentionally to be aware of it. Even now, I still catch myself in those behaviors. And I don't like it. It's not something that I want to continue to do because it's not a great way to treat people. You know what I'm saying? It's almost like you're giving them a carrot that they're never going to get because it's on a stick and they're chasing. And so I had to work really hard to break that cycle of not playing the field, but playing this emotionally distant game that I wasn't even aware that I was playing, and I was demanding for them to play too. So now I have to be more conscious in how I talk, how I engage, how I
throw out the bait. Throw out the bait.
Throw out the bait, but to not shift into this space where it feels manipulative, because that's never been my intention. But when I look back at the actions, I'm like, damn, that's kind of fucked up. I can see why they upset. But in the moment, I'm just being me, like, I mean, take it or leave it. I'm like, honey, I know you want me. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I think we have to have, and y'all hear me say this all the time, we have to have emotional awareness. We have to have awareness of self, heal thyself, know thyself, honor thyself, love thyself. Because the more we do that, it makes it easier to then see those faults and address those things versus wanting to point the finger at somebody else and be like, well, it's his fault we broke up. Or if he would have did this, I would have responded different. Or if he would have said this one the way that I wanted him to, I would have given him what he was asking me for. You know what I'm saying? But that was my way of not getting too close or being too vulnerable. I was always able to find a reason based on behavior of why you're not getting that deeper level of access to me.
But think about it. Sometimes we actually unconsciously are attracted to the type of people that we know it's not going to last with, because we really don't really want anything long term.
Crazy part though, the bullshit that I was doing, I always attracted for experiences with people that wanted commitment and marriage. And then I would get upset. Like, I would have this conversation, like, I don't know if I want to get married. I don't think that's on my radar right now. And then I would get really upset when that conversation would come around and they wanted to go ring shopping or they would propose. I had a guy break up with me once because I said no. Like, no. I was mad at him. Like, dude, you fucking this up. Like, we had a good thing going. Why could you not just behave and stay in this box? You know what I'm saying? So it was like the unconscious of, I wanted that experience. I'm committed. I'm loyal when I'm with someone. I don't cheat. That's my boundary. But at the same time, it was too emotionally demanding, at least for me. Because in order to exist in that space, you have to be vulnerable. You have to give of yourself, right? Mm-hmm. So I had to look at myself and realize, nigga, like, you keep attracting this shit and you're mad, but clearly. So now I've done more work on myself to recognize, okay, it's okay for me to open myself up and be vulnerable to that and say, I'll do that, while also checking myself to make sure I'm not shifting into those old behaviors. But that's why I said it takes self-awareness too, because I have to be willing to see myself and I have to be willing to receive feedback, you know, when people give it, and not just be like, fuck y'all.
You know,
but I think that's where we mess up. A lot of people aren't doing that.
I'm perfectly good with being with somebody, even having a marriage where we live in different houses. Because I don't want to be bothered full time.
Listen, you've heard me say this. My ideal is to be in 2 separate houses. I don't give a damn if we live on the same land, but you got yours and I got mine, or we upstairs, downstairs, separate wings. Like that's my. I don't want to look at you across the hallway when I'm mad at you.
Exactly. Well, the other thing is that I don't want to feel like I'm on all the time because whose dog is it?
Thought it was your dog.
No. I thought it was your dog. I was like, what the hell is all that noise?
I thought it was yours. Let's catch up on the comments real quick. Suzette said, I can love my dude with my whole heart and be down for them, but I'm watchful but I make sure I'm good with us not being I am good with us not being together too.
Girl, where are you staying? The kennel?
What?
I said, where are you staying at the kennel? What the hell is that damn barking and shit? I'm like, I don't have a dog.
No, it's a dog outside.
Oh, okay.
I'm like,
it's not me.
I'm like, what the hell is that? Because it would only start barking when you start talking. That's why I was like, are you sure that ain't next door?
Not me. No, it's like this Marriott is like his own complete separate property.
I know,
anyways,
but you know some of them allow puppies. They allow
that's
dogs.
cool, but Sean said it's a dog outside, so we're gonna go with that. I don't hear it over here.
Well, his ass was he playing stupid while we were sitting here saying, "Where's that dog? Where's that?" And he's like
what they
call it? Just saying the dog is outside, bro.
Suzette said emotional intelligence. Suzette said yes, Jay. What was I talking about? It sounds like me and you was having a moment, Suzette. So what was I talking about? Jason said, Jay, I got a question. Do you think you may have missed? Oh, yes. Like, let me be real. Hey, Brittany, how you doing, love bug? I want to be honest enough to say that my first true love, I truly fucked that up. Like, it was all me. He went and bought the ring. He talked to my grandmother, got her permission, talked to my mom, got her permission. Like, he was on it. He was handling business, but I was so completely paralyzed at the thought of being that vulnerable that I couldn't get there. And it was not a lack of love. I loved him with everything I had, right? But because that was my third proposal. I was 21, 22, something like that. I got my first proposal when I was 17. I got my second proposal when I was 19. I was paralyzed at the thought of having to be that vulnerable and having to be that connected to somebody. And it wasn't until a few years later that I was able to look back and be like, damn, girl, you should have been in therapy. like legitimately, right? And then the guy was saying that broke up with me. I was like 25. We had been like chilling for like a year, doing our thing, just hanging out, having a good time. He was a professional dude, so I would go to his events and stuff with him. I was in college, I was working full time, and like he didn't talk to me about it, I think was the problem that I had with him. So we were just hanging out and dating. There was no label. It was cool, and that was the thing. We were just friends, or at least that's what I thought. And then one day he says, we need to sit down and talk, and I'm like, okay. And he was involved in church and had decided he was getting deeper involved in ministry. And they really wanted him to be married and settled down. So he was like, okay, it's time for us to go ahead and take this to the next level. I bought a ring. Let's try it on and make sure it's your size so I can send it back so I can propose. And I was like, what? Who are you talking to? No. And I think I was more upset that he was trying to force it on me instead of hearing where I was, that here I am building a business and I'm in college full time, working on a master's, and you want a wife that's going to be in church with you and do all these things. We ain't doing that. And then another guy, I had been dating him for about 2 years. Same thing. His family loved me. He was good with my mom. But the more conversation we had, it went from him hearing me and saying, because he had a house. Okay, we're going to sell that house or rent it, and we'll get something together where we both have input and it meets both of our needs. And how many kids do we want to have, and all these things. And it was like he just kept changing it and trying to take control. And the more control I see you, Jason. The more control he tried to take, I was like, I don't want it. No. Suzette said, don't change the situation when we have discussed and agreed to things messing up again. Exactly. Like, I just felt like, how dare you? We were on point, and now you no. Damn, Jay. So you get nope. Not going there with y'all. But the funny thing is, I get people that ask me all the time, because my cousin used to call me the runaway bride. Like, she just used to joke and say, you always got your shoes ready at the door. And they couldn't figure out, like, how was I always drawing these? Because I do get the narrative that a lot of women never get a proposal, or it's hard for them to meet a marriage-minded man or a committed-minded man, etc. And I've always drawn that. I think because I just was the opposite of it. And that's the crazy thing. That's how energy works sometimes, because I was so afraid of it. It was always in the back of my consciousness, and it was always drawing that type of person. I didn't have to think about it or work at it. You know what I'm saying? But when I got it, I was so paralyzed by it that I was like, get as far away from me as possible. So even now, I have to work on that.
It's funny you say that, because.
But Jason, I got that fire though. I mean, I am the gold standard.
But I was about to say that sometimes it's the energy that you put out, because confidence and aloofness is attractive.
Oh, absolutely. I'm telling y'all, I'll be looking like a straight bar.
Aloofness is attractive. Sometimes people want to get married so bad that they reach desperation. It just seems like desperation is coming out of their pores.
Very true.
And that is not attractive.
Exactly. And I will say this, like, when I tell y'all I love me, baby, I'm the best thing walking the face of this earth. I don't care if you stand me next to Miss America. She may have a different aesthetic than I have. And that's the mindset that I've always had, right? We have people that look beautiful across whoever standard may be looking. We have people that we may consider more conventionally beautiful, more traditionally beautiful, more awkwardly beautiful. Like, we have all these different labels and categories we put people in, right? But I guess because I grew up and I saw so many women that were drugged down and just going through because they didn't love themselves or didn't honor themselves, I always made sure that I was the opposite. Like, there's nothing a man, and I had a guy tell me this recently. He was like, you're gorgeous, but I bet you hear it all the time. I said, I do, for men and women. I have women that tell me I'm amazing. I said, my besties hype me up all the time. Every time I walk past the mirror, I hype myself up. So there's nothing a man can say to me to distract from that. Like, he can build into it, but he can't take away from that, because I already have that foundation. And I think that's the thing that draws people, because I love me. Like, I'm like, you know what I'm saying? I love me. Even when my lips are ashy, even when my hair is not quite right, because I've been on a plane and had shades in my hair and all this kind of stuff and it's dry. Like, I just look at myself and I'm like, girl,
my mother was like that. My mother was like that. Yeah. Like, she had an aura that drew people. And so, and she would, the thing is that she would say her whole name. She said, I love me some Lucy Blake.
Baby.
Say her whole name and be like, she don't care what you feel. She love her some her.
There's nothing you can tell me different, ever. Because I understood the assignment that my worth and my value has to be based on me, not any other person, not my mom, not my dad, not any kids I might have had, not the work that I do, not the things. And what really reinforced it for me was going through, and I was very blessed to meet this guy. His name was Luke. Yep. After I had the car accidents, two things. One, my best friend at the time was a guy. And so he was just always pouring into me, like always hyping me up and just letting me know, like, you're still amazing. Even though you're going through these things, you're still flawless, right? It doesn't matter what you look like. It doesn't matter that you're limping. It doesn't matter that none of that matters. You're still fabulous. And then I met this guy, Luke, who wanted to date me. And I was just so focused on, bro, I'm at home going through a financial crisis. Like, I just randomly met him in a store one day. And he asked me for my number and we started hanging out. And I'm trying to give him all the reasons why. And ladies, let this help you. Like, I was giving him all the reasons why. Like, I'm going through a financial crisis. I'm still going back and forth to the doctors. I'm still in PT. I'm in chronic pain. He was like, I'll massage your feet. Literally was sitting on the sofa at his house. He got out the massage oil and started massaging my feet. One day he called me and I was like, I'm in pain. I don't feel like being bothered. I need to figure out what I'm going to eat. He brought food to the house. Like,
oh wow,
he was right. Like, he was just on it, showing me.
And you pushed him away.
What you got going on. We did date, but same situation. He was kind of ready to settle down and get married, and I was in my bullshit at that moment. But he was very influential in that season in my life, and it's like that thing that's going around on TikTok where I got 8 kids. They my kids now. I'll fight with you. I do, like, and the guys all that. He was that. This was way back in like 2008. He was that for me. Like, didn't matter what I had going on. He was like, "And I got money. What's your point?"
Right.
My back hurt, my feet hurt. I'll massage them. Like, you know what I'm saying? And so
every excuse you had, he had a comeback.
He had a comeback for my fuck shit, right? Like, and so I think that I was just extremely blessed to Suzette said first love has to be yourself behind God. Yeah. I was just extremely blessed that I met these key pivotal people in my life, that men and women that just adored me and poured into me. And so even now I still have chronic pain and things, and was just recently in the hospital after they tried to kill me with an infection and all these things, right? And I still have people that are like, "And like, I love you when your face crusty." And even though my face is swollen because I'm dealing with inflammation, you know, for fibromyalgia, they like, "And I love you when you look like a cupcake." And I'm like, you know.
But you know,
because of the energy
back on what she just said, what Suzette just said. First love has to be yourself behind God. Very hard to do if you've never seen it, or if the people who are supposed to teach you how to do it don't.
Yeah.
I mean, but I think that's something you have to find for yourself, because it is called self-love. So can't nobody show you how to love yourself.
Yeah, but you know what? I'm gonna tell you something, Sean, and I'm just telling you this from experience. When you have negative talk when you're young from your caregivers, that becomes a tape recorder. And it often is, it mindlessly plays for you in different situations and you don't even realize it, right? And it actually influences your thoughts, your words, your behavior, your projection. You know, you tend to be drawn to more dark things, and you don't even realize that you're drawn to dark things because the light is foreign to you.
I will throw this in there and say I didn't have great examples. Like, my caregivers were all either displaying very unhealthy traits or harmful characteristics and traits. But I think I was just fortunate because of my personality. And this is why Q and Michael and I were having a conversation, and Q was like, "I think you're a savant." Because I acknowledge that I don't know, like what I literally said to them, that is what therapy is for. Don't sleep on it. Absolutely. Listen, y'all know I will down that Mount Hill. Everybody asked me to go to therapy. But I was fortunate that I didn't understand. The way things work in my mind is I look for patterns. That's how I've lived my whole life, as far back as I can remember, right? I look for patterns and I mimic that. So what I recognized was when I was mimicking what they were doing, I didn't like it. That shit didn't feel good.
Right.
Like, it just did. So I said, that doesn't make sense to me. Why would I keep doing something that I can feel doesn't feel good? Now that doesn't mean I don't do dumb shit, because I do. But in those moments, I was able to recognize mimicking them did not actually feel good. So I looked for other examples to mimic whatever I might have read in a book. Like when I was in, grade school and junior high, I stayed in the library. So I was reading romance novels and fairy tales and all kind of adventure books and sci-fi and all those things. I was filling my mind with examples. And then I saw, things on TV. So I would even venture to say that years ago, I probably was not operating in self-love. I was operating in arrogancy and conceitedness, because that's what made sense. But it is also probably the very thing that saved me, because I have such a genuine heart. Had I not had that in place, I probably would have met dudes that could have taken advantage of that.
Okay.
So because I was operating in this particular energy, that wasn't attracted to that type of person. You get what I'm saying?
Gotcha. Yeah.
And I drew in people that were drawn to strong. So no lie, I was sitting at the airport. Y'all, this just happened. I was sitting at the airport and this guy called me and we were talking. He was asking me about my first marriage. And he said, why did it end? I said, because I meant my vows, but I don't deal with abuse or violence. And I don't look good in overall. So I knew it was time for me to go before I did something. And he was like, oh, you would have pulled? I said, absolutely, ain't no doubt. Like, and he was like, the fact that you can admit that, like, is wild and so attractive. And I was like, that's not even the point of what I'm trying to say. But
because I know
you get what
it'll be true.
Listen, but literally the fact that I was just being that was so attractive to him, and he was trying to turn the conversation. I was like, no, that is not what we. But you see what I'm saying? Like, because I am so entrenched in my own self, and I'm so entrenched in whatever my truth is, that's like honey to people. So I think we either figure out how to get in that energy or we don't. Sure said I grew up in a house with 3 introverted adults and 1 child, me extrovert, no cousins. I can pick up on all innuendos, passive aggressive tendencies, and indirect intentions. That's deep, because I think that's part of it too, right? If we have parents who don't know how to relate to our character and our personality traits.
Right. That's scary too, because again, remember what I said earlier. I had my son because I needed that unconditional love and I still didn't get it.
Yeah.
So sometimes parents think that they're going to have a child a certain, with a certain personality type. And when they don't match the fantasy.
Yeah.
I mean, because let's just think about this. How many young marriages, like when people are in their late teens or early 20s or whatever, don't last? And it's because we buy into societal fantasies. Sometimes we're prepared for the wedding and we look for the Huxtable experience, but we don't understand that they only showed us the good part of the Huxtable. They very rarely showed us. They showed us them beefing one time, but not for real, for real. They ain't show them not speaking and, that kind of stuff. They don't show the real life, day to day, the bills, the kids acting up in school and all of that stuff. I mean, there's only so much you can show in a half an hour, and most of the time, it's a sitcom. They're not going to show you the bad stuff. The closest thing we got to that was Good Times.
Yeah.
And they took that shit off the air real fast because it was real life. James never had a job longer than a few months, and they was always scraping to get by. And you got 2 grown kids helping pay the bills in the house and all of that. But that was more real life than a lot of the other sitcoms they were showing us.
Yeah. But even with that, also, and I would love to hear your thoughts on this, Sean. I think a big part of it is in our community, the lack of conversation at home not only because it wasn't being mirrored on TV, but because you got to think I truly believe we are still very much so living the after effects of slavery. So you're talking about men watching their women be brutalized. You're talking about women watching their men being taken and beaten and emasculated in front of them. And so that trauma is still being passed down in our DNA, which is where we get to epigenetics. It's
You
still
do realize that most of the people who are the first generation of post-slavery and equal rights under civil rights are under 60, right?
Yes, this is my point.
Yeah.
So we're still very much so not only the lived actual experience, but I'm talking about epigenetics, meaning that our DNA sequences have been affected by the trauma that our ancestors our ancestors experienced. Right? Sorry, I can get that out. So that being said, that's still very much affecting the conversations that our grandparents had, our great grandparents had. You also got to think that we're not too far removed from old men, dirty old men like Mr., abusing and hurting children because they wanted to marry
our
uncles. Right. But my point is now I'm not only talking about like molestation, but I'm talking about marrying them and making them turn into wives at 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, having babies. So we're not too far removed from that as well. And I think because we still don't know how to have those conversations and talk about that hurt, then like you said, we get to the uncles and the aunties, because women were doing it too, hurting one another. And so and the children in the family, and then expected to sit at Sunday dinner and smile like nothing was going on.
Right.
I think all of that, but I would love to hear your feedback, because I think we still have very different experiences as men and as women. You know what I'm saying? Some of them may overlap, but I think there's still some drastic difference.
I mean, it's definitely a drastic difference. I mean, hell, when my mom gave me the birds and bees talk, that consisted of her coming home with a big ass bag of condoms, throwing them at me like, "Here you go, use these." So,
oh wow.
So yeah, it's mad different, But at the same time, when you got a single parent household and they doing everything they trying to do to keep the lights on and everything running straight, and they don't take the time out to actually sit down and connect with their children.
Yeah.
And so that widens the gap even more. And then you out, hanging out with your friends and running the streets, whatever you doing, and that's how you learn this stuff.
You was a hot boy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So
hot boy out in the damn streets. Hot boy.
I mean, you know where I'm from Philly. That's what it was at that time. That was That was back in the day, the late 80s, early 90s.
Yeah.
That's back when people lied about their age.
I mean, things happen. People still lie about their age. You gotta check IDs. That's what you gotta do.
Listen, but now we got people lying down. Like they trying to be younger. They're trying to they lie, and you be like, bitch, you know damn well you ain't 36.
I mean,
wait a minute.
I can look at you and know you ain't 36. You ain't even passed for 46. Stop it. Stop.
Okay, let's catch up on these comments. Jason said he likes that you know yourself. I think that's really attractive. People are drawn to that when you are grounded in yourself. You know your superpowers. That's great. And listen, dun, 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 no. Suzette said I got a book. Hey Jennifer. Suzette said I got a book for each of the kids to then discuss even at dinner. Suzette said, now Philly got the hot girls. Check them IDs. Hey, Jasmine. Jennifer said, that's right. I'm 32. Listen, I'm proud of mine. I own every year of mine because I'm like, I had to earn this and get it out the mud, baby. I'm 45 and proud of it. And they be like, you 45 and is. And
but
I'm going to drink some water and mind my business.
I'm going to tell you, we're a little bit different, my sister and I. Our family is a bit different. We took a field trip with the kids to the sex shop. They was all grown by then, but we took a field trip.
hey, if you can be open and honest and comfortable with it, that's great. Because then, because a lot of people
We
have
need
their quote unquote kinks that they ashamed of
that part.
because they've been shamed about things their whole life. With somebody, it's like, oh my god, I can't believe it.
She
And
said,
it's like,
yeah, y'all weird as fuck. Yeah, we did because I forgot what we was talking about. And it was like the middle of the night. And sex shop don't close till real late, like 3, 4 in the morning. We was like, well shit, let's go. And we took a field trip, got in the car and rolled up. Went on a field trip to the sex shop.
Brittany said, I agree, that's personal space. I'm a lover girl, and if we're upset, I want to talk to you and live your life even in the midst. Come on through. Jasmine said, y'all weird as fuck, and is, but you just like us, boo thing, and that's why we love you too.
Yeah, but she's talking about family. Like, remember, that's my niece.
I know that.
Yeah. So yeah.
Look, you know that. Look, don't make us tell the story about how she got you. Now leave me alone.
Oh yeah, you're right. You're right.
Leave me alone. Suzette says,
you're right.
Not look nor act the way they used to the scenes. Baby, they at the club with the grandkids, okay?
Mm-hmm. But you get
sex toys was the conversation, Gypsy, and Jasmine said we obviously ain't let her drive.
You know what? Go to hell.
Oh my God.
She always come for me.
But let's talk about that for a minute. Because I know we talked, I think it was last week, we talked about the fact that maybe I'm a little weird because I'm not the one that's going to sit with my girlfriends and be like, baby, let me tell you about the size of the, like, that's not me. And I remember being on a girls trip some years ago and they decided they wanted to go to the sex store. I was like, bet, let's go. Like, hey, let's do it. But when we got in there, they wanted to talk about they're going to use this for that. And they got,
hey.
They really what was you doing there?
Huh?
Then what was you doing there if you wasn't talking?
So my thing is, I don't judge. I'm a vault. Whatever you got to say, share. I got you. I will always listen. I just have never been the type that wanted to sit in some. We listen and we don't judge, baby. But you get like, but they got damn upset, and I was like, "How you gonna get upset with me?" Because they wanted me to buy this particular toy, and I was like, "I don't want it." And the rationale was, "But this will spice it up," and I was like, "I'm already spicy enough. We having plenty of fun. I don't. For me, the real thing will always top any toy. That's how I feel."
Yeah, but the real thing talk back and shit. Sometimes you can just take the batteries out that motherfucker and say, "Shut the fuck up."
Put it to sleep. No, but the real thing, I just hands down can't be beat, right? So they were legitimately upset with me that I didn't want to buy this damn toy, and I was like, I mean, I don't care if you buy it, do you have fun in your bedroom, but we good over here. That don't mean I wouldn't buy other toys. I just didn't want that one. But I wasn't going. I don't. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I know, Sean, you said because men are competitive, y'all talk like that in order to.
It depends. It depends on the situation and who you're talking to. You know what I'm saying? Now, if it's a trusted friend, then yeah, you can have certain conversations, but it's a difference because you're having those conversations when it's just like, okay, I'm seeing this person or whatever. But if you like in a real for a relationship, with that person, you're not sitting there telling them everything y'all doing. You know what I'm saying? You might be like, yeah, me and my girl got into it last night, and man, she blew my mind. And that's where it's left at.
I got you.
You know what I'm saying? But the sex shop is cool. Like I enjoy, going to the sex shops with a nice young lady sometime here and there. But it's really not my thing because they don't really have good toys for men. So I think that's really some bullshit. They really need to look into that.
Let me catch up on these comments. Jason said, Thanos don't need no toys. I mean, you know what? Y'all come up with me, but I'm here for it. Listen, I got it. Brittany said communication is everything. Jennifer, I listen, I don't judge, and I turn bright red. No, I blush like people be like, "Why you blushing? None of your business."
Right?
No. Suzette said, "I don't need to know what you do with things. You do it. I'll just see. That's all I'm saying. I don't need the visual living rent free in my head. about what you trying to do over there. I need
Right.
to be doing what we're doing, right? You know what I'm saying? Jasmine said, "Let them Thanos dildos scare me. You gonna because let me be
She
as
can't
clear
even
as
get
I
it out.
can without being vulgar. I got walls, and I like my walls, and I plan on keeping them. Okay, so for me, I'm not trying to go out there and buy 11 inches and 4 inches wide, and that no, I am good. I am good over here.
I
You
mean,
know, but you like it, I love it. And no judgment. We listen and we don't
So,
judge.
so then let's go to the second half of our list then.
Put me back on the damn
Go
charger.
for it.
All right. So the walking red flag. What it looks like. Hot and cold. More mixed signals than a bad Wi-Fi connection. Ooh. Can't communicate, just argues, gaslights, and ignores issues. You know they're toxic, but that chemistry keeps pulling you back. Yeah, they got that Thanos.
They got that thing.
They got that thing. Walking red flags. That helpful. No, she did. You got a whole excavated cave going.
Listen, like where's y'all really trying to put this 11 inches? I'm judging, but I'm kind of like, no. No. I got walls and I want to keep them. Okay.
it is a trap door up there though.
It is.
It's a trap door. If you don't go deep enough, it's more. You be like it's more room. Like oh shit, what?
I'm giving you one power. No, and so
You
this
know
is
what?
the part
Y'all
of
gonna stop
conversation
coming for me. Shit.
so this is the part of conversation that we have to have as women too, right? And as men, we all grown. It's after dark. We talk about these things. So let's talk about it. We have to understand that everybody's anatomy is different.
Right.
So for me, one of the things that I had to understand for a long time, I had a tilted uterus. My cervix also sat low. I was not the one that wanted to feel like you was jamming it like this just for you to feel good. That was not my thing, right? So that was another reason when they wanted to look at certain toys. Listen, I'll research them with you. We could play with them. We could talk about all kind of loops. I will be your. I got you. But no, I don't want to buy it and take it home.
Mm-hmm.
You want? I don't want that in real life. I sure don't want it in a toy. You get what I'm saying? And again, our anatomies are different. Sometimes we got to look at the stature of a woman. You know, how do her organs sit? It's a lot of things that come into play. Does he have a curve? Is he straight? Is he long? Is he short? Is he thick? Like all of those things come into play? What does your toy look like? Does it have a hook? You know, does it get hot? I just recently found out they out here getting hot like heating pads. I'm like, what? Say what? So you warming it up like a microwave now? Like, but okay, we listen and we don't judge. So thank you so much for tuning in, Brittany. We really appreciate you. You two have a beautiful day, love. Jasmine said, if your coochie that wide open, go see. But we not gonna judge much. Oh my God. Was the before or after you found out it was tilted? So for the purpose of encouraging women to learn their bodies,
Right.
for me, it used to be really uncomfortable, like bordering on painful. And so I was asking my OB, like, I don't think sex is supposed to hurt. Like, what's going on? Because it's not just right before or after my period. Like when you might be more sensitive. So what's like why? We tried different positions, all kind of stuff. Made sure we tried boobs. I was nice and 60, like, why is this painful? And so that's the conversations that she started to have with me, you know, understanding that anatomy really does affect how we engage in sex and how much we can enjoy sex. So that's why I'm passionate about, like, when my friends ask me questions, I'm like, ask your questions all day and I'll answer them, because we have to have safe space to talk through these things and normalize understanding our physical health and our sexual health, right? So I was asking questions, I was educating him, he was asking questions for me to ask her on my visits, like thankfully my partner was really engaged.
Right.
And so it took a lot of time and experimenting to figure out the different things that made sense and that worked, right? Praise God for the nurses, y'all are gifts for God. It's the little things that matter. Yes, like it really matters. And so when I found out it was tilted, like I don't have that issue now because I had a hysterectomy, right? But that was a real situation that I was struggling with, that a lot of women struggle with and don't have anybody to talk to, so they don't know. You said, let me find out my wife too.
Well, that's what I was going to say. I was like, she making him feel like he the man, and then meanwhile, it's because her uterus tilted.
Right. He like, oh, I'm digging that out. No, sir, not you. But again, we have to be willing to ask those questions. But also for the ladies and the men, but for the ladies who have masculine partners, because I feel like what I hear from lesbian couples is most often they're having these type of conversations, right? But for ladies that are with men, y'all got to be able to talk to, and I'm an advocate for saying, if you feel like you can't talk to your person, you have either A, not chosen the right person, or B, you're not giving them an opportunity, because they might be the right person and you're not having a conversation with them to let let yourself be supported. So I was talking to my partner and saying, I don't like that hurts, that doesn't feel good. And he was really supportive to try things out. And life after hysterectomy, because I butchered that word, hysterectomy, was very different, right? Much more pleasurable. I feel like I am in my prime right now, y'all. Like 45, baby. What?
I mean, that's the right age for a woman.
Well, I had a hysterectomy at 26, unfortunately, because I had endometriosis, and so prior to that, I had the painful sex and stuff like that.
Yeah,
made people feel like they was like the man when really it was my endometriosis.
Oh my God.
But anywho, but
fibroids, endometriosis, all of those things can affect a woman and how she's able to engage with with sex. And so we have to be able to have those conversations and normalize being able to learn. This is why I say self-pleasure is a must. How can you teach somebody else to please your body if you don't know what pleases your body? We have to be able to touch ourselves. We have to be able to experiment and figure out what feels good, what doesn't feel good, so that we can tell them. And same thing for our partner. They gotta communicate. Yeah, it's an adventure you want to learn, but people have to. This ain't no fucking X marks the spot. Figure it out.
Basically, like talk to me. Let me know what you like, what you don't like. So I at least got a game plan going in, knowing what I'm gonna do. Like, all right, I'm gonna try this, I'm gonna try that. And see what they like more.
Suzette said, Jay, you get warmed up. Listen, I am here for this, because I'm like, baby, if it feel this good at 45, what? And yes, go play with yourself. I'm an advocate for self-pleasure, men and women. You got to know what makes sense for you to teach other people.
Right.
You got to know.
I mean, let's call it self-exploration.
Yes, self-exploration.
That's what it really is.
Yeah, but don't get too good at it.
Exploring your body,
Don't get too good at it. You might decide you don't want nobody.
I mean, hey, and maybe sometime that might be the best thing for you. Who knows?
Yeah.
But if a man does suffer,
for a little bit.
If a man does suffer from Peyronie's disease, is that like good because he can hit the walls better?
If a man does what?
If he got that curve like that
yeah, that's Peyronie's disease when he got that curve.
It's called.
Yeah. I couldn't hear the words you were saying.
Peyronie's.
That's it's called.
Peyronie's. Okay, I got you. I mean, some people say it make a difference, yo. Like, hey, you be hitting that G spot a little bit better, or that A spot a little bit better.
It does make a difference.
Well, I mean, he would have to bend like upwards to hit the G spot, won't he?
Well, I think it depends on the position that you're in, how beneficial the curve is going to be. Whether you're in missionary or doggy style or scissors or spooning, different things, like the position turn the curve, don't it? Like
I mean, it do, but if you severely curved, I mean, it's still going to be.
but it also turns her hole. So it depends. Because when you go in,
I think it's painful for some.
Hook in and hope it lean over.
I mean, I'm not a man, so I don't know how it feels. Um,
Oh, she on one night. So now the walking red flag, y'all. I mean, let's be honest. We probably all have somebody in our past that we kept around because they had that thing going on. Because they keep talking about the chemistry keeps flowing. We know exactly what they mean when they say the chemistry. I mean, and I know when I was younger, I kind of liked that little toxic thing. You argue. Sex was better after you argued and stuff. But after a while, though, once I don't want my blood pressure raised up just to have an orgasm. But that's the thing. So the whole walking red flag. Well, the lesson learned is that love shouldn't feel like an emotional obstacle course.
I think you were right though, Gypsy, earlier when you were saying like some people like the toxicity, some people like the cycle of arguing and then makeup sex, arguing and then the adrenaline rush. Some people like the cycle of we gotta break up and go through all of this bullshit. You know what I'm saying? To chase each other or chase that person or whatever. Some people are drawn to that because that's all they know. They normalize it as that's what it's supposed to look like. Mm-hmm. So that's what they keep reinventing. Suzette said, Jasmine, you crazy girl. Jasmine said his little curve, we working for her. If it ain't broke all the way, don't fix it. Shut up, Jasmine.
She said all the way. No, she didn't say all the way.
But and it just it just takes a certain kind of person. I know people like that, or well, I have known people like that mm-hmm. Especially those people that like women that if a guy didn't hit them, they felt like he didn't love them.
Yeah.
So they would seek out those type of men to be in a relationship that he's going to be abusive, and if he's not abusive, she's going to make him be abusive because she's going to put hands on him to make him put hands on her.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that's terrible.
Me personally, ain't no sex good enough. I'm sorry, but if you show me one thing, that's it. I'm gonna cut it off. I'm gonna let you know, like, it's because you do this. So if you fix that, then maybe. But if you ain't fixing it, I'll be by myself. I don't care.
Dysfunctional, right? But like I said, I think some people are drawn to that because that's what they know growing up. That's what they seen.
Familiarity.
That's what their mom had. That's what their aunt had. Sean, like you said, a lot of guys that grew up, watching their moms get beat or watching the men in their lives beat on their moms, turn around and become abusers. So we're big kids in these bodies, right? Big kids in these adult bodies or little kids in these adult bodies until we decide to do something different. That's why it has to be a choice to go to therapy. It has to be a choice to work on your shit. Whether you go to the pastor, the counselor, the therapist, the wellness practitioner, whoever and whatever, it has to be a choice when you recognize patterns and behaviors in yourself that are unbecoming or that are dysfunctional or unhealthy. That you want to do different. And that's why I say some people don't want to do different. They like the reward they get from being who they are, what they are.
Right.
Whatever that payoff are. That's like some people like being sick because they like the sympathy and the empathy and the compassion that they get from people doting on them and petting on them. You okay? What you need? Woo, woo, woo. They like being sick because of that. There are some people that like the dysfunction because of whatever payoff they get. From being dysfunctional with or without other people involved. For me, I'm like, I ain't got time for it. I got too many other things living up in my head to be adding your chaos to the mix. Like you got to be bringing something that's beneficial and not, dysfunctional and disruptive. You know what I'm saying? What's the next one, Gypsy? What's the next one?
The one who's already in a relationship.
Oh,
what it looks like. Claims their relationship is basically over, but still hasn't ended it. Flirts with you, but insists, I can't do anything yet. Gives you enough hope to keep you emotionally invested.
Oh, wow.
Married men, they do it all the time. But see, we want to talk about the women that are, and the men who are attracted to people that are already in a relationship. They really don't want to be committed either. They like the benefits of a relationship without the responsibility.
Mm.
I mean, that's like a double-edged sword right there, because some people want that friend with benefits because they scared of being in a relationship, because every time they're in a relationship and they think they really love somebody, they always get hurt. So to avoid all that, they just like, hey, we can form this connection or whatever, and we could do whatever we do, but I don't want to go there. Now, as far as being married and fucking around, I mean, that's just some bullshit. I mean, women do it
Yeah.
too, not just men. Trust me, I know.
Yeah.
But they give you that, oh, it's over, whatever, and you're like, all right, cool. But then he's like, hold up, you still mad? Okay, you know what? I'm out the door because I don't got time for that. You know what I'm saying? Because if you had came at me truthfully and honestly, I mean, I was young. I ain't care. Like, I don't care if you married. You know. But you up there lying, acting like you were trying to make it more than what it was going to be, and you still married. Like, okay, so I don't got time for that, because if you just been straight up honest, it could have been a whole different story.
I like what Sue said, because the thing is that I'm too old to hold on to hope and potential. Shit, I'm halfway to the grave. To me, hold on to hope and potential. I'm on a slippery slope. I ain't got time to wait for you to get your shit together. If you'd have called me around 30, I was still holding out for hope, and I had hope and potential when you were around 30. But now, shit, I'm 55 years.
Oh my God.
The only hope and potential I have is that you got a big life insurance policy and I'm the beneficiary.
Sugar daddy.
That's the hope and potential I have right now. So that holding on to hope and potential, yeah, nah.
Oh my God.
But Jay, I remember you telling the story about somebody that was like that.
What?
That was involved, and then later on, like you told him, nah, you involved. Nah, you call me back when you not involved.
Yeah, I've had that situation happen a few times in my life where so I met this guy. I mean, he seemed like a really great guy. He had just come home from being stationed overseas. This was some years ago. And we met in a professional space, got to know each other, became friends. And eventually he asked me out on a date. And I was like, okay. And we had a great time. I mean, he was a gentleman. He, from the very beginning, disclosed that he was going through a divorce. And I was like, okay. And what ended up happening, there was a lot going on. Like, they had one child together, I think, and then she had multiple kids before him that he had adopted. So they were trying to navigate, I think he was in the process of adopting, but it had not gone through. So they were trying to navigate, what does that look like, with custody to share for their kid, and then him still wanting to be involved in the other kids. And she was not letting go. Like, she was dead set on, we're going to be together. And his mom was with that shit too. So whenever we would go out on a date, and if he didn't answer the phone when she called, she would call his mom, and that raggedy heifer would be like, oh, he out on a date with Jasmine. So then she would call him or text him and say it was an emergency with one of the kids, which of course he goes to check on the kids and gets there and there's nothing wrong. So after this happened, 3 or 4 times, I was like, pause. Tell you what, because he had his own place, like they were completely separate. But I was like, it's clear that y'all still got some communication that needs to happen. And I'm not saying you got to get back with her, but I don't want to be the reason that you can't get back with her or cause, you know what I'm saying? So I removed myself out of the equation. And I didn't talk to him. I cut off all communication because I didn't want there to be anything on my side that stopped another woman from getting, what she wanted with her person. Well, he ended up showing up on my doorstep about 6 months later, to bring me the divorce decree to show me like, hey, I'm a man of my word. I was doing everything I said, it was real. And I was like, okay. And I respected that for him. You know what I'm saying? And that he honored me enough to bring that to me. And we kept in touch for a while. But yeah, I've had other people approach me. I'm separated, nigga. You need to be separated over there. Like I've never been, I guess I'm a girl's girl in that respect. Now I don't condone bullshit. I don't care if you're a girl or not, but I'm a girl's girl in the respect of I would never intentionally try to step into somebody else's relationship or be the reason that y'all can't work it out. You know what I'm saying? Because I just think that's trifling.
Right.
Now there's a difference when, like I said, in that situation, she just clearly did not want to let go. And I get it. Like, he was a good man making good money. He paid all the bills. She was losing her meal ticket too. You know what I'm saying? But I wasn't going to be the reason that they couldn't.
Right.
I think we have to the only way I know how to say this, I think we have to have more self-respect for ourselves than to play second fiddle. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Even if they're going through the process, what does it look like? Is it something they've been in for years because they having to negotiate? Maybe a parent got sick. I met a guy that wanted to date me, and he was still married because his wife had cancer and she needed to stay on his insurance. Nope. And I'm gonna tell you why. Because even though they weren't together and they lived like way far apart, separate households and everything, no. Because I knew that at some point, if she got sicker, guess who likely was going to end up being her caregiver? And I wasn't going to be there with you helping take care of her. That's not something I was going to sign up for. I'm being honest. Like, you know what I'm saying? No. So you go on and figure that out. You know what I'm saying? Good luck with that. But no. Suzette said, yes, Lord, on one foot is
right. Yeah.
Jason said, you keep girl code. Yes, girl code. If I know that you feeling him, I'm not going to try to talk to him.
Right.
If he talk to me, depending on what the circumstances were, I'm probably still going to shut it down. But if you married or you newly separated or y'all still in the same household, because a lot of people do that going through divorce to save money. I don't want no parts of that. Who? No.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I got the girl code. I don't care if you dated her back in middle school. If you dated her and I knew you back then and we all was in the same friend circle and stuff, no, I'm not. No,
enough penises out here. I can find another.
Exactly. I'm not getting on nothing my friend wrote on.
It might be the best part of your life.
I don't want to share the penis either. I don't want to have what you, because I don't want to have a conversation about what it was like and what changed. And I don't want you to
no. I am not knowingly gonna ride the same ride. No.
It might be the best ride you ever rode, though.
No,
the best ride I never.
I would never ride the same ride knowingly. Knowingly,
it'll be the best ride I never
gonna climb up on your ride. No. Sean, you got the list pulled up?
Do I have the list pulled up?
If not, I'll go on and finish reading. But
I got it pulled up.
Okay, the one who's in a relationship, the lesson learned is if someone is truly interested, they'll be single first.
Facts.
They'll be single first.
Or I feel like if you genuinely like them and they genuinely like you and you feel like it's something worthwhile, live your life, do your thing. You ain't got to be in pause for them. Live your life, let them handle it, and then you circle back together because now you have the opportunity to build it on a clean slate instead of you're trying to build it on something that's already being,
And don't lie to me. Don't lie to me and not give me an informed choice so I can make an informed decision. Like, don't withhold information, and then now I'm making a decision based on what I thought was the truth. And when I find out the truth, then you try to make it my problem. No, bitch, not. Yeah. That's no problem.
I've always hated. I've never been one of those guys because guys will always do that. Like tell a girl they love them just to have sex or whatever, And I'm like, that's some bullshit. Right. Just tell them straight up, look, I'm trying to have sex. You trying to have sex? No? All right, cool.
You want to smash, right. Suzette says some are just for the streets, married and having side pieces. Some don't want to build, they just want to have fun. Y'all, I saw this post earlier. It was this Raggedy Ann looking white dude. Like he had this stringy, curly looking hair. I think what's the photographer people? What's the photographer people? Photographers of New York, streets of New York, something.
Oh yeah. The streets Real People of New York or something like that. Yeah.
Somebody shared a post they had, but it was this scraggly looking white dude. And he was literally talking. He looked like he'd been through some things, right? I don't know. But he was literally talking about dating older women in their 40s. And his longest relationship, I'm guessing he was in his 30s. He looked.
He might have looked older, but he probably might have been in his 30s.
I'm going to guess he's in his 30s. But he was talking about dating a woman in his.
Oh, you froze.
Been 4 weeks. And he said that he likes to cheat.
Hold up, back up, because you froze. You said 4 weeks. Oh man.
Yeah, okay. His longest relationship had been 4 weeks, and he likes to chase. But once he sleep with him, he look at him like, well, if you giving it up to me, what value do you have? So he don't want.
Well, hell, you got community dick, so I don't understand. What's your problem?
Yeah, that's crazy.
Like, I'm saying, he was bold with it. And I was like, I hope everybody.
Right, you passing up king like candy. I don't understand. But yet you got a problem.
That's what they were saying in the comments. Like, if you feel like she dirty, you touching her. What does that make you? Like,
you probably look like you stink too. I have to go find that post. He probably look like you stink.
Huh?
He probably look like he stink too.
I missed it.
He probably look like he stink. Can you hear me? I'll text you and tell you.
I can hear you.
Mm-hmm. Do you know there's somebody, Leon look like he stink. I don't care how much money he got. He look like he stink.
Who?
Leon.
He look like who?
He look like he stink. Leon.
Oh my God. Girl, what? Why did you talk about people?
He look like he stink. Every time I see him, he look like he stink. Wearing them same old dirty t-shirts too. He look like he stink.
Let me find my charger. I'm not playing with you, girl.
My nose just it's an involuntary thing. Sean, you know how your nose just involuntarily go?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Understand.
Yeah.
I feel
look like he stink. Okay.
Yeah, he look like he stink. You know, everybody then walk past somebody that stink, and then when you see people that look like that, they look like they stink too. You ain't even got to walk past them. You can smell them through the TV.
Oh my God. Okay.
Okay, I'm just trying to tell you. Okay. All right, Sean, you read the next one.
Okay.
Let me catch up on this comment real quick. Suzette said people should lock it up like clink clink, and then Jason said women in their 40s be hornier than normal. That's why he go after them. Right, and I'm surprised with the way he looked at. He was pulling people because he.
Girl, but you gotta look and see what he was pulling though.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
that's true.
If he pulling Trailer Park Tracy, then you know. And well, I'm just saying, Jason, I'm serious. It's some people like I'm just serious. There's some people that you could just look at them and you just know that don't smell good.
I mean, his boy be walking around shitting on himself, so hey, you know.
Right.
What?
You got diaper done.
She said, what?
You
ain't know he shit himself when he went to France.
Yeah. Diaper done.
No.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. You know what? Okay.
Read the
All right, so the next one is the one who sees you as a backup plan. What it looks like. Only reaches out when they're lonely or in between relationships.
Ooh.
Treats you like an option, not a priority.
Ooh.
Says things like, maybe we'll end up together one day.
Ooh.
Sean, don't make me slap shit at you.
Damn, I just read the thing you told me to read. Right?
I feel charged. I feel attacked.
Do you see yourself in this, Gypsy?
I feel attacked.
I mean, I just read the words that was written down.
Is that why you feeling salty right now? You see yourself in this?
Maybe a little bit.
You was out there selling wolf tickets. You was the one providing false hope, huh?
Jason said they smell like David before yesterday.
Yup. Yup.
I don't even want to know what that smell like.
Well, okay. To be honest, most of the time, people who probably see you as a backup plan, it's not that they see you as a backup plan. They're probably emotionally unavailable themselves. And yes, Jason, I think I have.
Yep.
I have been told somebody that. Yep. I didn't. Yeah. I mean, how you think I wound up with my ex-husband? Remember I told you we was back and forth for 16 years? Saying. Backup plan. That 3 a.m. call. Ooh.
I mean, that's that 3 a.m. call is a different call. That don't really mean that you somebody backup plan.
No, it ain't. You are the backup plan. I need wet ass. I ain't in no relationship.
I mean,
did you say you need wet ass?
I need a wet ass, and I ain't in no backup. I ain't in no relationship. So. Jasmine, you gonna leave?
Jasmine said he off limits now. Stop talking about him.
Right. I mean, Jasmine, you listen. You don't understand. I had a soft spot for him. I did. I mean, that's why I married him. I had a soft spot for him. Yeah. I thought I could fix him. You know, there's a thing where you think you can fix somebody. Remember what I said earlier? That sometimes you get with somebody that could be like,
oh, wow, okay.
Well, sometimes you get with somebody like that because sometimes you think you can fix them. Unfortunately, like you. Okay, remember I kept talking about my dad, and sometimes you think you can get somebody, or like your caregiver, or like your uncle, or your first love, or whatever. Somebody in your past that you think you can fix, and so you intentionally find people that are just like them. You date the same folks with different faces.
And I understand that. I feel you, but at the same time, I learned a very long time ago. You can't change nobody. You can't even change a person's mind. If they truly believe something, you can have it in writing like this is the truth, and they still gonna believe what they believe. How you think Trump got in office?
Yeah.
So,
but Sean, you was well beyond your years. You were more mature at a younger age. You feel me? And like, so you had you brought a level of maturity to the situation that was beyond your year, right? And so, that's not everybody's experience because let's be honest, most men mature later than women.
I mean, that is true. Plus, it's a lot of knuckleheads out here, so a lot of women think they can run game because most niggas are stupid. And when they try that with me, I'm like, I hear you, but I already know you on some other shit. So go ahead about your business, whatever. That's just what it is. I mean, people always think the grass be greener, but then when they find out it's not, then they want to try to come back. It's too late now.
Well, shit, the grass is only greener where you water and mow it.
Thanks.
Take care of your yard, your neighbor yard won't look so good.
They don't realize that. Yeah.
I think it goes back to know thyself. The more you know yourself, the more you have control over the type of people that you attract, and you can attract the people that you desire. And whether that be a fixer. Mm-hmm. Some people want to hear me?
Okay, there. Whether that be a fixer, some people want what?
Now you frozen.
Can y'all hear me now? Can you hear me?
Okay, yeah. There we go.
Yeah.
Okay. What I was saying is, I think some people want the project. There are some men out there that want to build a bear. They want to build the woman they have, so that they have more control over how she turns out and how they can engage with her. And there are women that want to build a bear a man. They want to have, or they think that they'll have control, because a lot of times them builder bears turn around and go find somebody else to buy them. You know what I'm saying? They want the project. They want.
I mean, my thing is, you can't be Captain and save them. You just can't be.
Yeah.
Because you wasting too much of your
They're doing
energy
it every day,
pouring into somebody else. And it's like, if you took that same energy and actually got with a real person, y'all could build limitless shit together, and you'll be in a different stratosphere. But because you focusing on this nigga that's sitting on the couch playing video games all day, smoking weed all day, can't even clean, can't even go pick up the kids. But that's your boo thing, and you gonna make him into something. And once you get them taxes, he gonna flip them, and he gonna legitimize his shit, and that shit don't never happen. Every year he say the same thing, but it don't never happen.
Right.
Well,
but
and let's look at a different world. So when I was in the nail shop earlier, last week, a different world was on, and we were watching that, and I was talking about the fact that when that show was on, we loved Dwayne and Whitley, right? We loved us some black love. Everybody was rooting for Dwayne and Whitley. Whitley should have stayed left of his ass and married the little military dude, or Byron, or whatever the hell his name was. She should have stayed with Byron, because Dwayne Wayne, like as a mature woman looking at it, Dwayne Wayne was always trying to put her in her place. He was always trying to bring her down a notch and tell her that she was too much. She was doing too much. She was too loud. She was too prissy. She was always too something. And that's not to say that he didn't genuinely love her, but she was in a different category than he was. And she did have to bring herself down to exist in his category. You know what I'm saying? And I think a lot of times that's why they say men marry up, women marry down. Sometimes it is about the money, but a lot of the times it's about the possibilities, the potential, the capacity that a person has to be great and succeed. And I'm not saying Dwayne Wayne didn't go on to greatness. He did his thing, but like looking back at that show, it was like, that was wild that we were all celebrating that. And now when I look at it, I'm like, I watched like 5 or 6 episodes while I was up there. And I was like, every episode, he was literally telling her she was too much. You're too much. You're too this. No, don't do that. Don't be this, like, constant.
But his mom was like that. You remember when his mom came on there? She was like that too. Patty LaBelle, and she was like that too. And so, yeah. And then Diane Carroll was Whitley's mom, and she was more like, okay, he's not good enough for you.
Yeah.
So they both had toxic families. They both had toxic families that fed into their bullshit.
Yeah. And this is another key thing we got to look at.
Yeah. To be honest,
how many people have family members in their ears whispering that bullshit to them and talking them out of a good thing or keeping them in some crazy?
But also, I'm going to be honest, I never saw what she saw in him. He was weird. He was weird. Funny looking clothes. And he was weird.
It was a script. It was a script.
I understand that, but the thing is that they gave her the homeliest looking dude on campus, and he, a girl like Whitley was probably looking for the football player, not the nerd.
I feel you on that. I mean, me personally, I would have never had dated her. She was too damn skinny, but hey, whatever.
Well, I think they were displaying what most of us were experiencing.
Yeah.
I think they were just displaying what most of us experienced, right?
Mm-hmm.
But they still were making just like pushing a certain narrative. You know what I'm saying? Because she was too damn skinny. She really was.
Yeah,
And she
but
should
at the time that was in.
that,
Remember?
and that's what I'm saying. They were pushing
That
that
was
narrative.
in. The waif look was in back
They
there
were
because
pushing. They was pushing the narrative.
even when Jada came on there, her clothes was all too big and stuff. She was also very tiny,
She was.
So it was that was the look that was in. Yeah, he said thick chocolate thick. Yeah, but see, that's the thing. If you notice, they didn't really. Yeah, he was a nerd finding himself in college and the world. Yeah, but he definitely was not.
He wasn't your type.
No, he was. But the thing is that the girl that Whitley was portraying, she was
he
more
should
like
not.
a party girl and stuff like that.
And he should not have been her type, but he was. But that at the end of the day, you can't help who you fall in love with.
Yeah, I guess. Now, what's the lesson on the backup plan?
Yeah, the lesson is you deserve to be someone's first choice, not their safety net.
Oh, you're right. You're right. That's a great lesson. I have a new phrase that I use. I say, I never give you a second chance to tell me you don't want me. You can have it one time, and you ain't gonna be able to circle the block.
That's understandable.
You circle the block, you're gonna find yourself pulling up to somebody else's house because I be the mood.
I feel you.
So yeah. What's the last one?
The last one is the human boomerang.
Mm.
So what that looks like is they leave, then pop back up into your life like nothing happened. Each return gives you false hope that this time will be different.
Mm.
And they never stay, but they never fully disappear either.
Ooh wee. Ouch. Ouch, 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 ouch.
Did it poke you, Gypsy?
It poked me. It poked me. It's not that they throw you away or they leave and pop it. They just, life be lifing.
I can understand that.
Jason said Kim was my girl personally. Chocolate.
Oh Lord.
I'm trying to get it up here. Suzette said Dwayne.
He wasn't weird. He was a nerd finding himself in the college world. Okay.
And I apologize. I think my Wi-Fi is just being affected in this area. About to ask my wife that she better lie to me if I wasn't. Wait, lie.
Heck no. So what, you gonna be mad if you wasn't really her type, but you know
what did I miss?
Okay, so we talked about
the remedy for that. You disappear on their ass. Y'all done
Yeah.
had a whole conversation when I got kicked off. What happened? What I missed?
The human boomerang. What it looks like is they leave, then pop back into your life like nothing happened. Each return gives you false hope that this time will be different. They never stay, but they never fully disappear either. And that's why I was like, ouch. Because, yeah, I mean, like I said, life be life. And sometimes, like, I'm one of those people, I did not stay in my hometown, but I have a lot of friends that did. They stayed in their hometown. They never left, and so their situation is a little bit different. But I moved so much. I don't even remember how many places I lived in especially since school. You know what I'm saying? And so you lucky I still know how to get in touch with you. So, I in a way I resemble that, but in a way, it's just because life situations. It's not because it's intentional or anything. And the fact that you can, I don't know, the fact that you can still keep in touch with them says that you have some meaning in their life, if that makes sense. Right?
Sure said, I did not stay in my hometown. I would not trade it for the world.
Yeah,
Nah.
but there are some people who did, and so their circle's the same. And for example, case in point, sometimes I go back for homecoming, or sometimes I go back for reunions and stuff like that. Well, hell, most of the people in high school, they still get together and stuff. They went to college together and they, so I feel like an outsider when I go back. Even though I keep in touch with a lot of them, I still don't have that same camaraderie with them that the ones that stay in town do.
Yeah.
So there's that. And so maybe it does look like a human boomerang, even though that's not what it is. It's the circumstances. We don't live in the same area and stuff. And it just may feel that way.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm thinking this is more about a relationship type thing versus like a friendship type thing.
Even still, sometimes you don't break up because anything is wrong. You break up because of circumstances. Like you don't live in the same area. You don't, you know what I'm saying? And it's just, listen, I was active duty military. It's very hard to maintain a long distance relationship. Not to mention very expensive. And then right now with planes falling out the sky, I don't know about all it.
I mean, it is, but at the same time, I feel like if both people really want it to work, then it'll work. You gotta take the good with the bad, especially if you know what you're getting into.
Yeah. Yeah. You're
But
right.
everybody can't think like that. I mean, and so shit happens.
Yeah. But I don't want it to feel like that somebody is giving you false hope, because I don't think they're really giving you false hope if they're keeping in touch and whatever. And then you guys talked about it and you're like, hey, our circumstances is why, not because of anything that either one of us have done, that our circumstances are why it's not feasible.
But you don't have people that are mature enough to do that, because they'll mess around and it's supposed to be in a relationship with somebody long term, but they'll sleep with somebody else. But then instead of just being honest, saying, you know what, I met somebody else and they're here with me, and I'd rather be with that person, although I may still love you with all my heart, but you're there, I'm here, this person is here, I can actually be with them. They'll fucking give you some bullshit and say, oh, well, this is the reason why, and bring up something from however long ago it was that they stored in the back of their mind instead of talking to you about it right then and there. They'll say, oh, this is the reason why, so it ain't going to work. And if then as soon as they say the bullshit, you hear the bullshit, you're like, that's bullshit, but fuck it. It is what it is at this point.
You know what?
They
Yes,
said Gypsy was you in the military. That's why you be putting your men in arm locks and shit.
yes, I was in the Navy. And so, yeah. And, and I was out at sea and stuff like that. So, yeah, I mean, I've been in long distance relationships. They're very difficult to maintain. Very difficult to maintain. And not to mention expensive. Like I said, when I was active duty military, shit, I wasn't making that much money to be traveling like that. Hell, I was barely making ends meet. They wasn't even meeting. They was just hollering at each other. Yo, I'm over here. I got the light bill.
Oh my goodness.
Just saying. So that whole traveling and stuff like that, that was foreign. I couldn't really do all of that. Would I like to? Sure. But the other side of that is I was cross country at one of my duty stations and wanted to date somebody that was way across country. Hell, I couldn't even travel in the same state, let alone cross country. I didn't even go home for Christmas, I don't think, the whole time I was stationed in California. I didn't go home for Christmas because the tickets were too high.
Suzette said they don't want to be grown, Sean. And Sure said, I can go either way, long distance or same town. It's a mindset, though. If you find someone who is like-minded, it's hard to find.
Well,
Jason, oh, I didn't put it up there. There we go. Sure's comment. And then Jason said, how many of your men you don't waterboard at Gypsy? Gypsy sound abusive over here. She over here beat men down.
That would be none. Not yet. No waterboarding.
Gypsy over here abusing her men low key. Is that's what's going on?
That what Jason
Look, that little smile tell it all.
It's classified and redacted. She can't.
Right. That's G14 classified. I'm gonna have to, take you out if. No, let me stop. Okay. So what's the lesson about the human boomerang, Sean?
If they valued you, they wouldn't keep throwing you away.
Oh.
I don't think they're throwing you away. I think circumstances are just getting involved, and they're just not. I mean,
So it would depend
right.
on the situation, because there are some people where that's their thing, that's what they do.
Right.
Versus there are some people that just get caught up in certain situations.
Right.
Now, yes, it very much will be excuses when that's what they do.
Mm-hmm.
But when it's for real life situation, it's like, this is what happened and that's what it is. Now, you don't have to take them back. You don't have to deal with them again. You can let them know, well, hey, I understand that's what happened.
Mm-hmm.
I feel sorry for you, whatever. But at this point, I've moved on with my life, and I can't deal with that heartache or that pain any longer.
Yeah. Jasmine bed.
You say what?
He definitely did that shit though, Jason. And Suzanne said excuses.
Oh, I don't know, y'all. Well, what we will say though is that this was really eye-opening, this whole experience, because he said I know. See. I think that this goes into the know yourself thing. And the fact is if you haven't looked at something like this and really been honest with yourself, and been like, yo, I was on that fuck shit before. Ooh, I done did this, and this. Ooh, ouch. You gotta be honest with yourself, because one thing is you can't fix it if you lying about it happening or you lying about you doing it. An apology is nothing. Changed behavior is a real apology.
Very true.
And so I'm just, one like I said, when I was looking at this, I was like, ooh, I need to do better. And I'm working on my emotional unavailability.
It was frightening, alarming how many categories that you fit into.
The backup plan. I mean, that goes into the emotional unavailability. Working on that.
We heard you, Son.
I don't think she heard me either.
What'd you say? I
said it was frighteningly alarming how many categories you fit into. I'm just saying.
If you wasn't long time friend, I punch you in the nose, because like that. No, let me stop. So, but I
got a question, because me and Gypsy been transparent and calling ourselves out, holding ourselves accountable. But Sean over here has not been telling his own business and saying which categories he fits in. So, sir, sit in the hot seat and do tell which category.
I don't feel like I fit in any of those categories. I feel like my main issue is
I'm just gonna be honest. I gotta open up two other than be on his smooth talking. Okay, thank you.
I'm just talking, but see, that be my problem. My problem is that I'm too, I guess, nonchalant. And the reason being is because, I need my peace. I need my sanity. So I don't. I'm not looking for problems. Not looking for issues. And anytime I get a hint of okay, it's gonna be an issue, I just back off. Like, you know what? Go ahead and do you.
Oh well, they missed that one. That's the track star.
I mean, I guess you could say that I'm running away, but I'm not really running away. I'm protecting my sanity. So I'm not really running away. I'm pushing away. But
But is it
that's
possible, like you asked me, is it possible that you missing out on something, or whoever asked
almost
me that? Is it possible that you're missing out on somebody good because you're assuming that you're responding in a way that all of it's not manageable or workable, and just miss me with it, instead of, if it's somebody that you genuinely care about and you see potential with, saying, let's see what's possible through communication about this here thing. Because maybe it's a
most
misunderstanding, or maybe it's a me needing to have a better understanding of who they are, them having a better understanding of me, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
most
Since that
definitely.
say he tucking
I
move, baby, he tucking and moving.
most definitely. And I do I agree with that 100% because yeah, it probably was, but at the same time, don't get me wrong, it's not like I don't try to talk to people. And even if we don't agree, we can still come to the understanding that okay, I feel this way, you feel that way. That's fine. Let's move past that and work to move forward. But
So
a lot of times you say what?
your cut game is too strong. You cut people off before.
But no, because a lot of times what a lot of women do is, okay, we supposed to have moved past that, and then sometime down the road we're having a conversation, and then they want to bring that back up. And like, we already talked about that. We already discussed that. That shit's supposed to be gone.
Jason said you got that Philly shell down pat.
I mean, yeah, I guess that's what it is.
So I'll be
So
like, in the rearview
yeah,
mirror.
Yep.
because at the end of the day, then that's what brought me to that point where somebody, like, every time when you actually find somebody that you truly like and you feel like you love them, you want to be with them, and then that person hurts you. After going through that a couple of times, you're like, you know what? I'm gonna see where this go, but if you fuck up, I'm gone.
Well, but do
I
you
was
let
finna be
them?
messy, but I ain't gonna be messy.
Messy too, but I was like, this. So now,
Nah, go ahead and be messy.
Here's my question though. Do you let them know that you think they fucked up before the second time, or do you? Because you say if you fuck, or do you even give them a second time? Do you just like be like, I mean, as soon as you get a hint of?
So that really depends how I feel about that person. If I do really truly care about that person, I'll give them a second chance. Although I might be out, I'm just like, you know what? I'm just not even gonna say shit to him. I'm gonna stop talking to him. Fuck that. But then after a while, they reach out, and then I'm like, all right, you know what? Yeah, I was mad, but let me go ahead and talk. Let's see if we can't work this out.
So
Ah,
you saying it's the female fault every time, Sean? Right, Jason.
right, Jason. Thank you.
Now, I never said that about all my relationships. Yeah, some of my relationships it was my fault. But as far as this list goes, I'm just explaining like why I didn't see anything on that list that I really felt fit into. So that's different. Yes, there's been some situations where yeah, it definitely was my fault. I was young. I did wild out.
Last year wasn't that young though.
Jasmine said, I fully agree. I'm not about to change nobody.
Yeah, you can't change nobody. Like, look, you can't change nobody's mind, let alone change a person personality. Fuck that. I'm not fighting that fight. That's too much.
So I ain't gonna lie, y'all. I'm sleepy, I'm tired, and I'm hungry, and we hitting about an hour and 50 minutes.
Yes.
This is a
Yes.
great conversation, though. I feel like we need to continue
Yes.
this next week, like continuing to dig down and talking
Yes.
about water types and what that looks like. But I gotta go. I'm running out of steam.
Yeah, and
All right.
well, continue to
I'm
send your
sorry, y'all. I'm running out of steam.
okay. Continue to send your questions in, though, y'all. If there's anything you want us to expound on next week, send it in to our mailbox and let us know. If there's any other things you want to know about as far as like you want us to talk about in relationships, let me know, let Jazz know. Like we'll be here for you. And then of course we'll have the resident peanut gallery inside the chat.
Yes. And be mindful that we did change. We have moved to Mondays, y'all. I do apologize for being late today. I couldn't get here no sooner because my flight was delayed. But 7:30 and you tired 40ish. Listen, I've been at the airport since 9:30 this morning.
And she in the Eastern now, so it's 8:30ish.
Yeah. So now I'm in the Eastern time zone, but my people in time done ran out. Y'all know I got a timer in my head, and when that bitch say stop, I'm done peopling for the day. And I got to people tomorrow and do some training, so I got to go be great and command the room and do all the things. So I got to get my beauty rest. Y'all, listen, I forgot my daggone chapstick. That's why I'm sitting here fidgeting because my lips dry. I'm like, oh my God. I was digging in my suitcase. I left my whole little case at home. They had my chapstick and my lip glosses and all the stuff. I don't know what I was doing when I was packing. So I got to go to the store and find some dinner and get some stuff. But anyway, yes, we'll continue this conversation next week because I feel like there's really value here in looking at the different types of people, how we engage with each other. But also we can dive deeper into this conversation about expectations with our relationships, right? So be mindful. We changed to Mondays at 6 p.m. Central, 7 p.m. Eastern. Mondays, not Tuesdays no more, unless we're doing an unauthorized version.
Mondays. But
love y'all, and thank you so much for being a part of our online community, peoples.
Bye, y'all. Next Monday.